But anyway, I'd like to call the meeting of the airport committee to order. Is my mic working? Can y'all verify that?
Yes.
May we have a roll call, Rebecca? Oh, okay, Daniel.
Rod Billingsley,
Here,
Bob Witters,
Present.
William Brainerd, Carrie Lane.
Here.
Councilman Montoya, Arnold Lopez, John Aragon,
Present.
and myself, Daniel Goulet, present. And online, we have Mike Provine, which is our engineer on call for airport.
welcome, Mike.
Good morning.
First item is approval of the agenda. Gentlemen, you've got the agenda in front of you. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'd approve it.
And I'll second that.
Fix the date, I guess, on the copy. I have.
Yeah, fix the date.
On the minutes.
On the minute.
Oh, okay, yeah, we're,
I'm looking at the wrong thing.
We're on the agenda now.
okay. Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. We've got a correction, I think, Carrie?
It might be corrected. My version said that I had the wrong date on it, but it was, I know, she already said
At the top.
it was gonna be corrected already.
Okay, so it's January 14th.
Mine didn't say that, but yeah, I think that was gonna be fixed.
Okay, well, I printed them out. Yeah. That's correct. Okay, so the minutes that were transmitted to the committee members, come in. Come in, Councilman.
Morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Welcome.
Thank you. Sorry, that was the other meeting.
You can't be at two at once. It's-
No.
Anyway, I think what we should do is ask that the minutes be approved as amended to reflect the date of January 14th. Is that satisfactory? So I have a motion to that effect, Carrie?
Yes.
And I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion, minutes as amended are approved. Item 5, public comments. Do we have any public comments today or any public present that would like to comment?
We don't have any.
Okay. Hearing none, we'll continue. We've got an item for new business. I don't have anything under that item. Most of this, all the stuff that's on the agenda is existing stuff. So, is there any new business that we need to bring up, John?
No, sir.
Okay. Then we'll move on to the discussion items. We've got several items, and I guess the first thing, and kind of a status report on the airport layout plan. That's, Mike, if you're going to get talk quite a bit this morning, so we can start with airport layout plan if we could, and the bottom hanger.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. So the airport layout plan, we've had a discussion about showing the property and the deeds and all that. So we've got that, I believe, wrapped up. The other issue, FAA provided our comments on our forecasts, our traffic forecasts. We had that discussion with FAA. We're going to go with the published terminal area forecast for the airport, which shows basically flat growth, if you will, through the planning period, but it's we don't have traffic data for the airport that really shows otherwise. So we'll get that buttoned up, and then working on the capital improvement program. So we'll be meeting with the city on that moving forward. The property map though is buttoned up, and we'll get that submitted. It's a separate submittal, if you will, to FAA called Exhibit A property map, and that shows the table of the land acquisition and all that. So we've got those documents. Thank you, Danny, for rounding some of those up. And we'll get that published into FAA here in the next week, it looks like. Go ahead.
You have a copy of that, Mike?
Copy the layout plan or the Exhibit A?
Yes. The layout plan.
I do. I can send it to you, whatever. I'll send it to John. He can distribute it, however.
Or PDF would be fine, just something that John would be able to share with the committee.
Yes, sir. We can do that.
Excuse me.
Mike,
Yes, sir.
what is the final acreage of the airport?
Oh,
All the deeds and all that kind of stuff put together.
let me look at it. I'm sorry. Should have that on top of my head, huh? Give me a minute, and I'll probably wrap back around. I need to find the drawing actually in the files here, so we can move forward back, and I'll wrap back around if that works for you all.
Okay.
Yeah.
The bottom hangar, the large hangar, it is shown on the airport layout plan. We have not shown any disposition on it, just that it is a structure out there. I don't. That's where that's at, if you will. I think it's important to show a hangar in that location. If the city decides to tear down that hangar, showing a hangar in that location in the future is important because it'll preserve your airspace, if you will, with FAA. Make things simpler if another hangar is built there or adjacent to it or in that area, if you will. So we've kept that hangar there. I know it's got some issues, but we've kept it on the airport layout plan for now.
Okay.
Mr. Chair. Mike, is
Yes, sir.
is the hangar officially condemned?
I don't know that. I don't have a document on that. That's a question to the city, I would guess.
I don't know
I don't.
what officially condemned means. Our safety officer did mention that, but I think to be officially condemned, it needs to be condemned through the state, but I don't know that for a fact.
Okay.
So it's kind of in a state of non-use right now. That's, until we figure out on the airport master plan what we're gonna do with it, you know. The city's been trying to keep it as safe as possible. They've taken the door down and just kind of keeping it to where it's not gonna cause any problems.
Okay.
Well, the bottom half of the door, you took that down, is that right, John?
Yes, the door was stuck, so we took it down so that it wouldn't come down on somebody. So the city was able to do that for us.
And at this time, it's just, you anticipate just leaving it in place?
For now, until we come up with something for the airport, what direction the city wants to take it, whether we want to condemn it or repair it. And I don't know, that guidance will probably come from Danny and Arnold's office as to what they feel is best for the airport.
They'll make the recommendations to mayor and council, the city manager, and they'll see which way they want to go with the airport.
Yeah.
If it's too costly, you know, to remove or to repair, mayor and council will actually make that decision on where it's going to go with that. No?
But if I understand Mike, Mike hasn't done any analysis or is not obligated to do any analysis of that existing hangar. Is that correct?
Rod, no, I have been asked to come up with a cost for those type of costs. So that's part of the capital program. that we're working on. Not knowing the full extent of the any code issues and stuff, that's a little difficult, but we're trying to do that. We can figure out cost to demolish, that's pretty easy, but cost to renovate, that's a little more difficult. So I've got my architects, met with them a couple weeks ago, and they're researching that, see what kind of cost we're talking about.
And as you discussed the renovation with your architects, what renovations or what had you, kind of direction had you thought about for the renovations, Mike?
The minimum is code violations. If part of that discussion has to be had with the city too, is what is the intention with the hangar? If are you going to use it as a hangar? Is it a storage facility? What is it? Because that has to do with occupancy. That's the architects put that question back to me. So I haven't moved that forward with the city. Those are the questions though that will help lead us down that road. If it's just taking care of structural and electrical code items, electrical is pretty expensive. Structural, there are, I think, some issues with that, but we need to have that discussion with the city. So I haven't pushed that forward any, Rod, but that is one of our projects on the capital list, if you will. So it can be a broad brush thing. If it's going to be a hangar, then that's a certain thing. But if it's just a storage place, then that may be something else because of the occupancy. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir, I do. I guess as I look at that structure, it appears to me that at least the western portion of that building is really, I mean, that would need to be demolished, as would the boiler room, those rooms adjacent to the main hangar. But I think those areas of that building basically don't even have a roof anymore. The main hangar still has a roof that looks reasonably good to me. But so if you're looking at least partial demolition, I think that's what I would at least recommend that you consider, Mike. And of course, finally, a door. I know the concern is the structural supports for the existing door, which is essentially unusable now, or a new door, certainly need to be, the structural capacity of that would need to be investigated. And the electrical stuff, I think you could safely say, and I think Kerry might be able to speak to it, but I think most of the electrical systems would just simply need to be replaced. Do you have any thoughts on that, Kerry?
It needs new electrical. We disabled the stuff that was there because it was cloth and exposed, just so we could rewire to the door and that outlet when I was in there. So we put in new wires just for the one circuit for the light, outlet, and the door. But so that's there, but it would be a start over, would be better than nothing. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, and I appreciate that. So amount of service needed and stuff like that. I mean, are we talking about a motorized door? Or are we just talking about there's all kinds of stuff there. Structurally, hanging a new door on that, we'll look at that. We've talked to our structural sub a little bit about it. But these things are not inexpensive. Replacing doors that size, if you have to go into the structure especially, but replacing the electrical service, if you're just looking for lights and some plugs, great, that's one thing. But if we're trying to heat the building, stuff like that, I mean, there's a wide range there. So I don't know that the city is looking to use it as a hangar. That's very expensive. I would guess turning it down, starting over would be probably better use of money, my opinion.
Would it make sense to have an open hangar instead of a door? Just leave that hangar open. Had you considered that, Mike?
I have not, no. Yeah, I haven't. I don't know. It's more of a sunshade, right?
Well, essentially, except it'd just be open on, one side.
Have quite, Mr. Chairman? So along that lines, I don't know if there's, there are any other hangars available for transient people coming at this point. I don't know if you get requests for that very often for people that want to go into hangars at all, or
We get it, but not often.
not a common thing. Is there more people local looking? I know I saw somebody was looking at one time, but I don't know if they ever.
It comes and goes. I mean, we get interest, sometimes during the summer when people are looking at buying property and then they either don't buy the property or
There's not a current list or anything waiting for a hangar at this point,
no.
I guess. But I agree with Rod. I want to say that too. I've been in there and looked around it when had our plane in there, and yeah, that big structure is cool and nice, but yeah, the same thing. It was scary going anywhere else outside of that. And the doors, there's lighter doors now than that available, those folding doors. So it may not need structural change.
Right.
Modern doors that could be put on there, and doors would be nice, but I agree with Rod. It's like for my plane, I just want it out of the hail and the major winds, which I'd like it closed if possible, but I wouldn't be opposed to having my plane in a place like that didn't have a door on it. The hail is the biggest concern for my plane here, so that wouldn't be out of the question to have that if that's a whole lot cheaper and doable. And if that structure that's there doesn't need anything, I don't even know if it needs re-roofed. I don't know if it leaks that much. I don't remember it leaking that much. So it's pretty good shape. The 100-year-old dome part, I think, is in pretty good shape. So it was kind of nice to have in there. And the electrical, if you're just, like you said, it's not that major. Electrical is not major if you're just going to run some lights and outlets and even the door.
Yeah, and even a space heater, but that's a big volume.
No,
Heaters.
you don't want to heat it.
We don't need heaters.
Be heating the world, I think, for that structure.
But heaters on our plane, if we need a heater.
And part of the deal is we have a new energy code, and depending on what we do to a building, we get into some pretty stiff requirements for energy compliance, stuff like that. So I'll get. We're trying to get a site visit done with the architect and structural engineer and electrical to evaluate that. So I'll be able to report more when I get those. So we'll have that done in the next few weeks.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Montoya.
Back to the question about acreage. It lists total acreage is 1,279.7118 acres, more or less. And that came from the plat that was done, I think, last survey plat that was done.
Could you repeat that again, Mike?
Yes, sir. 1,279.7118.
Wow. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I was gonna ask, is there any, is this building under historical preservation or anything like that we have to get clearance for remodeling or for demolition or anything like that?
As it is not listed under the National Historic Registry.
No, okay. And has there been an assessment of the building itself in the last year or two?
No, that's what Mike is working on with the architects, is getting an assessment of the structural and all of that.
Mhm. And then I think the big question is what was asked earlier is, what is the future purpose use of it? And if there is use or not for it? I know it's been emptied for how long now?
When did we pull you up there? A couple of years
I
ago?
think about a year I moved out or something.
Yeah.
A year or so. So, depends on what kind of an investment I think that we're gonna be investing in. We gotta determine what the purpose will be for and if it's worth the investment.
I think, Mr. Montoya, we've got, I think there is, sorry, shut this thing down. I think there is I think there is demand for hangar space. I guess the existing hangar, the big hangar up on top that Doc Brainerd and Kerry are in, that hangar certainly needs significant work itself. And I would think that that repairs to that hangar up on top, you would want someplace to put your plane while they were working on that thing, because the floor, I mean, that hangar on top is really in bad shape, and it needs some significant maintenance and improvements. And even if the city were to spend the money to upgrade that hangar, you guys would need a place to go in the interim while that was happening. So I think that should be part of the consideration, you know.
I wouldn't want my plane out here in the summer. Outside, that would be risky.
Right. Well, there's hailstorms that, and other issues.
Anytime, yeah.
So, any other discussion, gentlemen? Okay. Status report on the lighting and signage project, is that basically completed, or we still lack?
We're, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, we're waiting on the state aviation to issue the grant for that work. Contractor signed a change order. That change order will go to city council here. Danny's got it, ready to go for signatures. But we're talking to the state aviation a couple days ago. That grant offer is in their legal. It's in their process, and it was at legal. Jane Lucero was going to check on that. I haven't heard back, so it's any time now. I'm pretty confident that'll happen here in the next week or so. The city will get the offer on that, sign that, and we move forward. Talking to the contractor, he's got crew available there in the next few weeks, so we're trying to get that buttoned up as soon as possible.
Okay. Does he have materials on hand? He does have, has he? Or
Yes, sir. He's got everything ready to go.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
You want me to continue?
Go ahead. You see,
Wildlife fencing project. We've got the approval from FAA on we have a document, a submittal we make to FAA through their airspace review. It's construction safety phasing plan, so that got blessed by FAA. We've got FAA telling us that they are getting money available from headquarters to offer grants. So we've got that plans and specs. We'll go to the city council for request permission for advertisement for bids. Next week or so, I'll get those up to Danny. We've taken care of the city's comments on that, so we're ready to go. So that's good news. So we'll get that out, bid, advertised, and get it under construction as soon as we can. There was some delay with FAA on money. They hadn't been with a continuing resolution and the stuff going on in Washington. There's been some delay in FAA getting the release of funds, but that looks like that's happening. So that's talking to FAA. This is a safety project, and they're very much behind it. So
you think this project could be completed this year, Mike?
I hope so.
Is that? Do you think is it?
Yes, to answer your question, yes, I think it can be.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Next item is the status report on the avgas fueling systems. Know that we do have fuel available now, and the card reader seems to be working. But I guess I was just hoping John could kind of give the committee a report on kind of what the difficulties were and how it was resolved.
So we had several motherboards that had shorted out, whether it was one incident or in the sequence of fixing them, sometimes you know how that is, but all three boards were replaced, and with the replacing of those boards, the system was up and operational, and we have not had any issues since. We do have the electric horsemen going up, when they do the sign project, they're going to look at repairing the reel, but that's the only thing that's wrong with it right now is the reel.
With the avgas, the reel for the avgas,
E-track Reel, yeah. for
Okay.
those.
uh, is this system that we've got, do you think it's, for the long term, it's gonna be able to be maintained, John?
I was assured through the company that they are fully committed to making parts for that system. That's really their main system. They've not changed it. So yeah, it's long-term. That's really what we got from Fuel Master.
And as far as entities or companies that'll service that, is that a issue?
Well, that's just an issue in general for aviation is getting companies that service it. We were able to utilize the contractor, electrical contractor on call, and they were able to find and expedite one of those companies to come in and
Okay, so you had an on-call electrical contractor, that was Electric Horseman, is that what it was, or?
yes, sir.
So they subcontracted to the company that actually repaired the Fuel
That was
Master?
my understanding, yes, sir.
Okay.
Your contracts are all with Electric Horseman. That's easy to do
Yes,
with them. It's just getting them to get somebody.
for emergency use, yes.
So if I could talk to them if we want to try to help get them to go faster. Talk to them probably, right? They find-
Yeah,
or if we're
I mean,
gonna-
they're gonna tell you what
or
I
if-
tell you.
or
I
if
mean,
we're
they
gonna
can only
help-
move so
Or
fast.
if we
but-
help with them, if we decide to go
Yeah.
do Summit with them, we could do that.
Mhm.
I know I looked at others covers. Did that ever come up? I see in other places, there's these insulated covers that go over it and with a Velcro door on it, which seems to help protect them. I don't know if that's the thing that'll help it or not, but that's an option for that one.
I did not ask Fuel Master if they had a cover for it, but it might be something we can get just off of.
Yeah, it didn't look like a
custom
big
made.
expensive thing. It looked like it's just this padded
a move.
insulated Velcro thing that must like screw on or something. It has a door you kind of just lift this whole panel up. Flexible, it's all just soft
Okay.
stuff on the other units I see at other places.
Okay.
Pretty handy. I mean, you just pull it up and throw it over and then you can use it and flip it over and it's all, then
If you're there and you see a manufacturer
look for a tag on them or
tag,
something.
and I will look into it.
Okay.
All right.
Question?
Yeah.
Do we know how much revenue we lost because the system was down?
No, sir.
Okay, and your opinion is that it's now fixed and it's fixed pretty good? Because one option is it's time to get a whole new system. And I don't know if the city would approve doing that. But I think in the budget, we were showing that the revenue we were hoping from the fuel sales was 150 grand a year-ish. And I think the last couple of years, it's been a little bit over that. I don't know what the profits are from that, but if there is an opinion that we ought to get a new one, we ought to start looking at getting a new one.
Again, Fuel Master's committed to that system. They're still making it. So I don't know that it makes sense to purchase a new system when they're still servicing that
yeah.
one. It doesn't make sense.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. I guess the frustration, and you know John as well as the rest of us, but it took a long time to get that thing fixed. And so that was certainly a loss to the city for the revenue and a loss to the pilots for fuel availability, but, enough said. Finally, status on the mowing equipment. Have you got all the mowers, and are you set up now, you
Yes, sir.
think,
Everything.
this summer?
Yeah. Everything's set up and ready to go.
Okay. So as far as, your current equipment needs, you're pretty well set. Is that what you would say, John?
For mowing, yes, we got everything that we need. Snow removal, we got several plows and the truck is running. We got that situated. So I think that for the time being, the airport's fairly equipped for the maintenance of the airport.
So there's no other pieces of equipment or repairs that you think are needed at this time. Is that correct, John?
Yes, sir.
A question on that. There was some talk at one time about a tug, I guess, for moving airplanes around.
Yes, sir, and we addressed that in that conversation. The liability for the city is extremely high and the training, so we decided not to move forward with purchasing the tug.
Insurance companies are running the world.
Liability for everything, you know?
Yeah.
Are there plane, I see these huge planes in there. They have to be careful not to get stuck because you can't move them, right? Is that how that works?
For what?
Those bigger, I've seen some of those big jets that are parked there once in a while. They just have to be careful not to get where they can't move themselves because you can't move them around. You can't push them or anything.
No.
Well, you have a tug, you just don't use it. Is that,
Tug is an old surplus. It's standard. It's very touchy. Again, going back to the liability, if somebody slips on that clutch and rips the nose wheel off of an aircraft, trying to keep the city's best interest. It's really not worth it.
but if an airplane had to be moved, you could move it, is that correct, John?
That tug does no longer work. It's flat. It's just sitting there. Actually, we're putting it on, what do you call it?
On the surplus
Auction,
list?
Whatever. Yeah. It'll go out to auction this year.
Okay. So what do we do if we get an airplane stuck on the ramp? CRJ runs off in the mud.
Normally they'll have to call Highland Wrecker. That's who's been doing our aircraft removal from the runways, taxiways, stuff like that.
The ones that wrecked. That's what Highlands moved the ones last year that
Yes.
hit the oak. They
They
came
did.
and moved them.
And they've done a bunch of them for
Okay,
us over the years. They're pretty good at it.
Any other discussion, gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
Well, just so, follow up on that. So I guess if a plane gets stuck, they can call Highlands and they would move them. That's an option. I guess that's what happens, right?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Any other discussion? Well, that brings us to adjournment. Next item on the agenda, I think,
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn.
motion made
Second.
and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Rebecca. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. McKeon.
How's that fencing going on?
Sure.
Fencing.
I think they'll get it this year, he said, so.
Do you need anything from me?
I think they did figure out where the property is.
I'll call him when I get up there.
Thank you,
And then we go back to the
Bye-bye.
Yeah, he did. The acreage did Joe hear that? Was it,
Yeah, he wrote it down. It was 1,200.
Yeah, 1,279.7118.
Yeah.
1,279 acres.
A lot of, that's a lot bigger than I thought it was.
Well,
Now, is that what you're gonna fence?
That's
All-
my understanding, yes.
all
We're-
12
We're doing a perimeter.
Yeah, okay.
okay, but what about the property that the, wastewater is using? Is that included or not included?
That is not included in that 1,200 acres.
So that property,
That you'd have to, probably should have asked Mike because I don't know I haven't gotten that information from him as far as the deeds and all of that stuff. That'll be in that, layout plan that when I get that, I'll forward it to you. That should give you some clarification on that. I don't know what the deeds were and what property was transferred or not transferred, so I can't speak to that.
yeah, I think it just needs to be cleared up, because if it's,
Well, that's the point of the master plan and why they did the deeds, so the answer should be in there, I would think. That's why we did that, so.
Because my understanding is some property was in exchange from Highlands to the city for the golf course. And I don't know if that's the property,
I don't know that either.
and I'd be curious to know.
we'll see what we get. And if we've got questions after we get the stuff from Mike, then we'll deal with it next meeting. I think we should. Okay,
You guys can always call Mike direct too, I mean, you
Yeah.
guys have his number.
Yeah, see you guys.
Thanks, see ya.
How are you? Good, thanks.
thank you, sir.
Oh, John Henry on there.
Other one down. Yeah.
Let's just get you an office over here in the back. I think there's an extra one.
Is it really?
Yeah, this one.
Oh, that's okay.
Thank you.
You bet, man.
It's here in, what was it, April? Or is it March? April?
Today's April, or we're in April now.
October. Yeah, I try to remember the thing I had to put on my calendar. The committee meeting.
Thank you.